This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
White trash fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. Cat drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go!
Hey, everybody, welcome to
Boy.
King of the Hill podcast. I'm Mike.
And I am Rusty.
Rusty, we are all the way. Actually, let's talk about what happened last week.
What happened
You
last
were
week?
out on the weekend.
Yeah.
So we didn't record. We only recorded one.
We went live
Apologies.
on Thursday night and
Yeah.
did that whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, we did that thing, but I'm just saying it. Thank you guys for sticking with us. Today is a regular episode, just
Regular
like normal.
episode.
We are in season 6, episode 9, or 6 ABE in the year of our Lord 14. So we're about 5 episodes off.
And in this
Pushed
episode
forward, which is weird.
Yeah. And in this episode, it's kind of like untimely. A more timely episode would have been the torch episode of King Hank
that's
running
true.
the
That's true.
torch.
Well,
We're
we
going
had
through
it-
Olympic season
We had
right
it 2
now,
weeks
so.
ago, right before it started. So
Yeah, it
that's
was right
not
before
bad.
it started.
It's
You're
not
right.
bad.
It was kind of close to it.
That
kinda
was
close.
that was all planned.
Yeah, it was. It did kind of time out perfectly. You know, it is kind
It
of.
does sometimes. Every once
Funny
in a
how
while.
that worked. Yeah.
Okay, so we are. This is the Bluegrass is always greener. This is a very famous episode.
It is a famous episode. It's a
Yeah.
very musical episode.
It is, and
You get a little bit of Blue Moon of
I
Kentucky.
think if you
keep on
asked
shining.
anybody on the outside, they would say this is a Boomhauer-centric episode, but it is not.
No, it's
It's
really
really
not a
not,
Boomhauer-centric episode.
He's just there,
Boomhauer
yeah.
steals the stage, if you will, with
Sure.
his Blue Moon of Kentucky.
Well, Charlie
keep
Daniels
on
does a pretty good
shining.
job too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I
Which
think
is
it's
a
working out
lovely
pretty good.
little-
It's
yeah.
working out pretty good.
All right, here we go. We start with a cold open, which we haven't gotten in a while.
Yeah, it's the first cold open in a while for
Yeah,
sure.
cold open to Connie playing the violin, and the guys are in the alley, and they can hear her in her room playing. Bill starts humming along to it. She's playing Mozart. Bill is humming along to it, and then he finally just snaps, and he can't take it anymore. He squishes his beer can, tries to climb the fence. Says, I can't stand it anymore. I'm going to grab that violin from Connie and smash it against a fire hydrant. Hank, having probably been through a couple of Bill's breakdowns, says, Bill, she started 4.5 beers ago. You can't possibly go on much longer. Please, Lord, give her a cramp, if it's thy will.
If it's thy will.
I love that part.
If it's thy will.
She stops for a second. Then she starts again. Bill starts smashing his head in the cooler, and he goes,
Yeah.
we're low on beer, just from inside the cooler. And then we get our credits.
Great observation, Bill.
Yeah, good stuff, Bill. It's so weird that he doesn't freak out about that the rest of the show, though.
Being
Like,
low
this
on
is the
beer.
only time.
Yeah,
Well, no,
yeah.
I just mean like over her music. He doesn't freak
Oh,
out.
they don't
the
freak
rest of
out
the
over
time.
her music
Yeah,
the
it's
rest
just
of the
really
time.
odd.
No, you're right. They don't. They're pretty copacetic with it after that.
All right, so when we
Actually encouraging after that. Really.
Yes,
they really
absolutely.
encourage it once you get into the Blue Moon of Kentucky phase of her violin playing.
So after they get that far, we get to the credits, and we've got No Bell, No Yell, of course, because we're in the
No
middle of
bell,
the
no
season.
yell.
Yep. We start in the alley. Hank walks up with his guitar. What was his guitar's name? Lucky,
Bessie,
Betsy, Geneva,
Peggy,
Wilma,
Marge, Barbara, Baran.
I don't think it's it.
No, I don't think so either. Bess. Here we go. Bess.
Bessie.
Bess.
Got it.
According to Artie here.
Got it.
I
Got it.
think
Thank you,
we
Artie.
got
Always there in time.
a little artifact. Oh yeah, shout out to Texas. Betsy is his guitar's name. Shout out to Texas Outlaw Mark Burleson, Texas. Shout out Chantel. She switched over to here.
Hey, Sean.
And Artie. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate y'all coming and hanging out with us.
It's good to not see you guys. All right, so I didn't mean anything about
They could see us, though.
You can see us, we can't see you.
They could see us for the first time.
Wouldn't that be amazing if you could just see everybody that's out there watching you?
That would
It'd be
be
creepy,
that's
though.
called a Zoom call.
Well, it's called an audience is what it's called.
Or an
but
audience. Or a
yeah,
Zoom. Well, they do
yeah.
Zoom calls now. They have this huge comedy Zoom
just
call
come
for
hang out.
Kamala.
Really?
Comedy for Kamala or something like that.
Okay. All right. Hank walks up with his guitar, Betsy, same thing. And Dale says, "What are you doing, Hank? Going to the crossroads to sell your soul?" You know what he's referring to.
The devil went down to Georgia.
Right,
He
you
was
got
looking
it,
for a
you
soul to
got
steal. Also, though, I'll go ahead and throw in a little fact for everybody. When the devil went down to Georgia, that whole story is actually about a guitarist named Robert Johnson.
Yep.
So he was a famous blues, well, not famous. He was a blues musician back in the early 10s and 20s, and he.
I'm just.
Are you showing the window?
Showing them the city.
Yeah. And he, no, you're good. And he was famous for just disappearing when he sucked, and then he disappeared and came back, and he was phenomenal. So he was said to have went to the crossroads.
Deal with the devil.
And Eric Clapton actually redid his entire songbook, and he had to have two guitarists to do what one guitarist could do with one guitar.
There's also a movie called Crossroads who has
Steve Vai and
what's got the kid from Karate Kid in it.
Yeah, he's the one
main
that
one.
does the guitar at the end. Steve Vai plays all his
What
guitar
is my
parts.
laptop doing? What is this thing? Look at this. Windows, go away. Nobody likes you.
No, it's a Windows computer.
Windows is awful.
Yeah,
Oof.
Windows. You gotta get the
Mac is worse.
Gotta get a Chromebook.
Yeah,
Might even be
okay.
worse.
All right, so what are you doing, Hank, going down the crossroads to sell your soul? No, just thought we might want a musical change of pace in the alley.
Okay.
Bill, of course, says, I want to hear Puff the Magic Dragon. Play that one. I like it. Play
Puff
it. And he
the
starts
Magic
singing it.
Dragon.
Hank says, Bill, do you have any idea what that song is about? It's about a dragon. We're grown men.
Yeah, so
It's not about a dragon.
it's not. Well, people, it is actually about dragons. So people think it's commonly thought to be about drug use, but it was written by Peter, Paul, and Mary, and it's based on a poem by a guy named Leonard Lipton. And the dragon, the song is actually about a female dragon who loses a little girl friend who grew up. So
Really?
it's kind of like, I guess you could say, kind of like the what's that movie? The movie with the big white dragon thing.
Oh, Never-Ending Story?
Never-ending story, and
Yeah.
then the kid grows up, that kind of thing. That's what happened. The kid grew up, and then the Puff the Magic Dragon went away.
Yeah, if you listen to the
Something
lyrics,
like
you
that.
can tell what it's about, and it's kind of like cats in the cradle in the silver, that kind of same stuff.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I was listening. I was listening to a little Buddy Holly bit, and they were talking about how
that's
the
Vincent.
Beatles picked their name, the Beatles, because of Buddy Holly and the Crickets.
Oh, yeah.
They listened to
That
Buddy
makes sense.
Holly and they thought, oh, well, we'll make
Makes
the
total sense.
Crickets. And then also he was the inspiration for Elton John's glasses, how he wore the rim-horned glasses, kind of like Mike's almost wearing today.
That's mine.
Except for those probably aren't rim-horned. I don't think they use rim-horn anymore.
No.
What is rim-horn?
I don't know. I just assume
Now
that
they use like some type of polymer plastic, I'm sure.
I
but
assume
what
that
is
they're the style they're talking about.
Yeah, pretty much the style,
So it's kind of like this. It's like the Wayfarer style.
So actually, just my last little fact
Mine
for
are
a second or
fancy.
two, but Hank's guitar is actually a 1963 Guild Solid Top acoustic guitar called Betsy, and this episode is the first episode we've seen it in actually since season 2, episode 22. So
the one where he wakes up with Willie Nelson.
Naked with Willie Nelson? No, he was
No.
naked with Nancy.
I mean the
Right?
one where he
I
has
don't know.
that
He was
dream
naked,
where he's
right?
with Willie Nelson playing golf.
Naked?
Is that the last time we saw
I don't
Betsy?
know. Was it Betsy? Was that Betsy in that episode?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
'Cause he had to get
it
it
was.
fixed.
Yeah, that was that episode. Yeah, you're right.
All right. He says, no, I want to hear Puff the Magic Dragon. He starts singing Puff the Magic Dragon, which not a great song.
Not a good song, though.
Hank, Bill, do you have any idea what that song's about? It's about a dragon. We're grown men. Here, how about, and he starts strumming, and then Bill tries to sing along to it with Puff the Magic Dragon, which absolutely does not work.
Does not at all work.
Connie hears it. She comes out. You get from Dale, "Party's over, Hank. Music police, a.k.a. Little Miss Bummer." Connie comes out and says, "Don't stop. I like it. The only time I heard music like that was at Disney World when we passed the Country Bear Jamboree. But my dad pushed me into the Hall of Presidents. Could you play it again?" Hank says, "Well, sure." And then they both play together. They play Blue Moon of Kentucky because that's the only song everybody seems to know.
Blue Moon of Kentucky, keep on shining. I love that song so much. I love Boomhauer's rendition of it because it's Mike Judge singing it.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it even. Yeah, he does
I didn't
Boomhauer's
realize
voice.
it was him. I knew that, but I didn't realize it was him.
No, he
singing
locked in with Boomhauer's voice all the way through that and did that Blue Moon of Kentucky. Well, because voice actors and everything.
Oh yeah, sure,
they're usually.
We got our fill of voice actors right now. We're starting. We did final casting for our original show. Yeah. But the next one is the one where everybody that I know is going to be able to get in on it because it's nuts and there's way too many characters.
Yeah, I can't wait.
All right, so we get to. He goes, "Well, all right then." After they're done, and Connie says, "Wow, this violin did that." Hank says, "When you're playing bluegrass, you call it a fiddle, Connie." Violin, like it's just the funniest thing he's heard. Con drives up. He looks very mad. Pulls up. Connie sees him. Says, "Oh, I gotta go. My dad has this joke. How do you know? How do you get into the Van Cliburn Summer Orchestra? Practice. Well, it used to be a joke. Now he just screams it, which I completely can see in Con.
I've been fact checked in real time here. So Mike Judge does not sing for Boomhauer.
Oh,
but Texas Outlaw Mark says it's Vince Gill.
Oh, is it really? That makes sense. That makes total sense.
No, it's Vince Gill. You're right, Texas Outlaw.
That's great. Good job.
Vince Gill. Appreciate
Look at this
that.
timely fact checking. So she goes, "I got to go." Now he just screams. Then we get Bill saying, "Who's Van Cliburn?" And Dale says, "Texas' own Van Cliburn is a classical pianist with a bustling camp in Fort Worth." Everybody just kind of looks at him. "How do you know that?"
July 12th would be their birthday then.
He goes, "We share a birthday." All right, Con. Now we're at the Hill dinner table, and they're talking about how Con is making her play the violin. Hank is saying, "Con's making her play classical, but the girl's got a natural talent for bluegrass. Everybody in the alley thought so. Well, that's enough for me."
Yeah.
And Boomhauer is a music snob. Peggy, who has very few lines in this, thank God, says, "Well, the strange thing is people with that much talent rarely amount to anything." Where does that come from? What is that? That's not a thing.
I don't know. That isn't a thing.
It's not even a thing.
I've never heard that in something like
She
in my
just
entire
makes
life.
shit up. She just makes things up.
Whatever fits her narrative.
Whatever makes her sound smart.
Molds it.
That's it.
Yeah, she
That's
makes it.
Bobby says, "Interesting fact, Connie and I always had a dream of playing Carnegie Hall to showcase our talents. I'd open with a tight 40-minute set of observational comedy and poo jokes, and then she'd close with the violin concerto for the Blue Hairs." At least they got it figured out, I guess.
Yeah, Blue Hairs.
Hank says, "But I think that fiddling could take Connie even further than Carnegie Hall." Where is that, Hank? That's if she grows up pretty enough.
You know what's further than Carnegie Hall? The Grand Ole Opry.
That's true. Grand Ole Opry's further.
That's like the pinnacle of redneckery and the music.
That's true. Well, they get to go to Branson, so that's pretty damn close.
Now, Branson's more like white Christian nationalists.
Well, I mean, Dolly's there.
I forget Dolly is there. Yeah,
she's pretty darn liberal. It says,
her and Willie. It's funny because they're like the elder statesmen.
They're like the most liberal people in the
country,
world,
and they're like extremely liberal people. Yeah.
He says that's if she grows up pretty enough.
But not Hollywood liberal.
No,
because
different.
Willie Nelson lives in Abbott and drives a 1991 red Ford Ranger or whatever it is. He drives around Abbott.
Absolutely. So he goes, "Those Dixie Chicks sure have raised the bar." Which I guess this is before the Dixie Chicks had their issue, and then were barred, and then came back, and then twice as strong.
This would have been, I guess, before they talked shit about George Bush, because that's what got them canceled originally.
Absolutely.
Was they spoke out against Bush, which at that time frame,
God, can you imagine?
He was a war
leader.
Now? Yeah, he was leading us through a tumultuous time.
All right, now we transit.
Great guy though, in comparison.
Wet handshake though.
I like him though. He's all right. I like
sure.
He said we have to fight terror wherever there is terror. Watch this drive.
Terror.
That's my favorite. That's like my favorite clip.
Yeah.
That's my favorite presidential clip of all time, outside of the JFK assassination.
Where he's
is
just
him
he's like,
teeing
yep, gotta
off.
fight that terror. Bye.
He's like, yeah, we gotta fight terror wherever there's terror all over the world. There's terror now. Watch this drive.
All right, so we start in Connie's room now. Con is speaking. Okay, very good, much better. Take a break from your Mozart. She goes, oh, thanks, Dad. He goes, sure, yeah, no problem. And while you're relaxing, you'll read about Mozart. And shoves like a big Mozart book in her face. He goes, learn about the man, get inside his head. Any child prodigy can play, but only one who will know what it really means. Okay, yeah, and walks off. Connie reaches under a pillow, gets out her Bluegrass CDs, which she's gone shopping, obviously.
She's doing her Bluegrass history.
That's
what
right.
She's trying to do.
She
Fun fact: the banjo is actually a African instrument, and they used to wrap animal skin over a gourd and use gut strings, which would be strings made from animal intestines, to get the banjo sound.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of bluegrass. Actually, the fiddle too is argued to be not the violin, because the violin is the violin, but the fiddle is also a separate instrument. They say that the fiddle also originated in Africa from a similar way with like gourds and animals.
That makes total sense. Okay, so he shoves that book in there. She pulls her CDs out, pulls her little Walkman out, starts listening to bluegrass, and just puts the Mozart book on her face. Next, we go over to Hank's garage. He's looking through the middle of a level, like a level you use in building. He goes, I bought this level at a yard sale. I'm afraid the price was too good to be true.
It might be too good.
It's not level.
He is trying to verify that it's level is what he's doing. He's calibrating his own level. That's
crazy.
next level.
It's next level leveling.
That's next level leveling, yeah.
Dale, of course, says, try testing on my stomach. It's flat as a pancake. Lifts up his shirt. Connie walks up. She, hey, Mr. Hill, my dad won't be back for an hour. He's getting his hair dyed. Ooh, I wasn't supposed to tell anybody that.
Ooh.
You want to throw down with a hoedown? Hank says, I'll get my guitar. Bill says, I'll get my washboard. Dale says, I'll go get my string bass, which is really a keyboard. And then Boomhauer says, hey, man, I'll get my banjo. Maybe I'll get a little accordion. Man, what do you think? No, I'll get banjo, man. And they all take off to get their various instruments. They're coming back to play the world's greatest music.
Which a lot of other of them have been seen playing instruments before. So, of course, Dale played the keyboard in Meet the Perpaniacs. Bill played the spoons in the Beer Can Named Desire episode, which I believe is the episode where they go to New Orleans or whatever and meet his family.
Yeah.
And Boomhauer has never been shown to play an instrument before, so this is his first time doing so. And to give you a little background on the song that they'll be playing, I'll save that for when we get to that part, actually.
Yeah. Okay, so now they are back in the garage for a jam, as the young kids call it.
A little garage band jam sesh.
Hank says, a one, a two. And then you hear from Boomhauer, hey man, I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna go take a bus right now. And then what we hear is possibly the finest music ever created by a human being. And it sounds a little something like this. Don't time
I'll
me.
get my guitar. I'll get my washboard.
I'll go get my string bass, which is really a keyboard.
Hey, man, I'm going to go get my banjo. Maybe I'm going to go get a little accordion, man. What do you think? No, banjo, man.
Let's go.
1, 2, 3. Hey, yo, man, I'm going to go now. I'm going to take a verse right now.
There you go.
Keep on shining.
You know, when you watch this, Connie's really into it.
Yeah, no, she likes
she's
it.
loving
Yeah,
it.
she's dancing. She's loving every bit of it.
And
I like that, though, yeah. I like that rendition of that song.
Oh, it's great.
So the history of that song real fast. Blue Moon of Kentucky was actually composed as a lonesome but lovely waltz by a dude named Bill Monroe, who is considered the father of bluegrass.
Bill Monroe. He also had a lot to do with swing, I think. I
Probably
think that
so.
documentary we watched over at Texas Music Cafe, I think he was in it a lot.
Yeah,
Or at
he
least
was.
referenced,
Yeah, he
you
was
know,
that one that we did the live show. Yeah, he
Yeah, it was all about
actually.
Texas swing and bluegrass and all that stuff.
Yeah, he did mention that quite a few times. It's been covered by Elvis during some of his first commercial recording sessions. It
by
was one of his songs,
everybody,
but some of the more notable recordings are Patsy Cline, Leanne Rimes, Paul McCartney, that kind of stuff.
Paul McCartney.
Yeah, but it is a good song.
So as they're singing and playing, the camera kind of pans over to Bobby. He's blowing on a jug, that kind of thing. Hank says, "Bobby, put that down. That's the jug I keep stuff in." He puts it down and he looks very sad. And Hank does say, "Saw that thing, Connie," and she just she starts really playing. She busts a string. And she goes, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to get into it."
Yeah,
no.
she was jamming on that squeeze box.
He goes, no, it's my fault, Connie. I told you to saw. All right, so now we're at Earl's music shop.
I told you to
I
saw.
told you to saw.
Saw harder.
Now we're at Earl's music shop, all four of them and Connie, which what an odd group to take to to a music shop.
It is a really odd group.
Hey, guys, we just been drinking out in the alley. Let's take this little girl over to the music shop and get her violin fixed. So Earl is trying out the violin. Dale says, "So you're going to just restring it, huh? I told her to throw it out." Well, of course she did. Earl, who is obviously Bill, give me his name. Give me the actor's name. Bill.
The guy who does Bill?
Bill. Yeah.
Isn't it?
I can't believe it. I can't believe I've forgotten it. Anyway.
Man, the guy who does Bill Dotrieve.
Yeah, it's so stupid because he's the same guy in Office Space. He's the guy I love. He's Brother Where Art
Stephen
Thou.
Root. Yeah.
Stephen Root. You can tell that Stephen Root is doing Earl's voice.
Yeah.
Because it sounds just like Stephen Root, honestly. He says, "Well, this little girl doesn't look like she could hold a fiddle, let alone break a string. Hey, how about a little twinkle, twinkle?" She starts, she ding, 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 and she ends up
he's kind of got that voice of the character that he does on Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou? Isn't that Stephen Root?
Yeah, he's the blind guy in the radio
I
station.
can hear y'all music just fine.
Sing directly into that can.
Sing into that can now. Yeah, I like that southern accent.
He
Sing
starts,
into that can.
He starts with a little bit of the twinkle, twinkle, little star, and then ends up with this big flourish, He says, "Oh, she's good. You ever think about taking her to Branson?" Hank says, "You think she's Branson good?" I mean, that's a big deal in Hank's head.
That's a big deal if you're Branson good.
He says, "Well, hell yeah."
I thought Nashville good.
No,
might
it's
be
Branson.
a little better.
It's Branson at this point. "Well, hell yeah. They got these fiddle contests out there," and shows them this flyer. It says, "Come on down, join us at the Downtown Branson Annual Old Time Fiddle Contest." What a name! And by the way, the name of this changes whenever you see it on the marquee.
Well, and it was, and next year we might have to do like a live watch of this.
Oh, is that a real thing?
It's a real thing.
Ooh.
The Downtown Branson Annual Old Time Fiddle Contest. It's always the third full week of June. This year it was held Monday, June 17th to Saturday, June 22nd. I wish I would have known that because I've been off work since about then.
There are two things I would love to live watch.
Yeah.
One is that. The second one is the dog show.
Oh, I watched that.
I love that damn dog show.
Too.
I don't know why I like the dog show so much, but I love it.
It was the 71st anniversary of that this year, and it was held at Weiser High School.
75th anniversary.
71st.
Yikes.
71st, sorry.
71, 75, same thing.
Live streamed on YouTube, so something that you could actually watch on the live stream if you wanted to.
I'd watch it. Absolutely. I'd probably go to sleep, but I'd watch it.
Oh, I'd watch it attentively.
He says, "They got these fiddle contests down there," and he shows them the flyer. "I used to judge them till they found out I was taking bribes." What? You're taking bribes in a fiddle contest. Hank says, "Boy, the best players in the world go to Branson. You know what I'm thinking? Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" Connie says, "Could I wear a sundress and play in my bare feet?" He goes, "Heck yeah, I might kick my shoes off and join you." And then Dale comes in and says, "And we could be your backup band, the Dale Gribble Bluegrass Experience." To my surprise, Hank goes, "I like it." Like it's like he's okay being in the Dale Gribble Bluegrass
I don't
Experience.
know. Dale, Hank, you could use any of those names, really.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Dale, Hank, Bill. I mean, Bill's Bluegrass Experience. Hank's.
Bill's Bluegrass Experience.
Already been done.
Bill's Bluegrass Experience leaves a weird taste in my mouth. I don't like that.
There's like 4 generations of Hanks out there
That's
making
true.
music, so I don't know if we could do that one either.
She says,
Rest in peace, Hank Williams Sr. Gone too soon.
It's been 50 years ago.
Gone too soon. No, longer
I
than
already
50
miss
years.
him.
No, that's the thing I was looking up. I thought he was older. I thought
know-
he was like a 30, 40-year-old man when he died, but he was still only in his 20s.
This is something that used to be a joke between a buddy and mine. Whenever somebody would die, they'd post a thing on Facebook, and I don't mean normal people. I'm talking like stars.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
People
yeah,
that
yeah.
were in the limelight at one point or another.
Yeah, stars.
Invariably, somebody, as soon as they post it, goes, "Oh, I already miss them."
Already
No,
miss
you
'em.
don't. You hadn't thought about them in 20 years.
You don't even know who they are. Yeah, you don't even know who they are.
Oh, I really miss that girl who was in Bonanza. No, you don't. Nobody misses
No, I
that.
really
Just her
do.
family misses them.
I miss everybody in Bonanza.
Oh, my
I miss the
God.
whole cast.
I
'cause
miss
they're
them.
probably
I miss
all
them
dead.
already.
The
Yeah.
whole cast is
They're
gone
all
by now.
dead.
Yeah.
They all died in a big Bonanza
Or
fire.
the cast of
Yeah. You know what's weird?
the Riflemen.
They all choked at a Sizzler. It was odd. It
Oh,
wasn't
all
even,
at once?
Wasn't even a Bonanza.
It was like
Do you remember-
a Bonanza reunion, and they're all choked at the Sizzler.
Well, the Bonanza was closed. They had to go to the Sizzler,
They had to go to
and
the
that's where they all
Sizzler.
choked. It was
Yeah.
weird. It was really odd.
The Bonanza cast of the Sizzler.
All right, so Connie says, "Oh no, I'm going to be in Fort Worthless that weekend, auditioning for Van Boring." God, she puts a little spit on it there, didn't
Oh
she?
yeah, but
Let's give a little Haktua. Thank you.
there
very much.
is an actual school there for Van Cliburn in Fort
Yeah,
Worth.
Van Cliburn was a big deal, huge
Yeah,
deal.
There's a school there.
Hank says, "Well, that's a kick in the teeth, Bobby." And he looks over, and Bobby's trying to play the bongos, and he puts them down. He goes, "Okay." Everything Bobby picks up, Hank's like, "No, you're not a musician."
Can't do it. Put it down. Go touch it. That's mine, not yours.
All right, we're back in the Hill Garage. They're playing Blue Moon some more because they need that practice, I guess. Con comes in very angry. "Stop, Con Jr. What's that noise you're making? It sounds like you're killing a seagull with a bagpipe." Hank says, "It's Bluegrass, Con. Music made in America. And whether you like it or not, your daughter's a natural." She says, "And I'm having more fun than a dog up a bone tree."
Whoa.
She goes, "That's how you say it's fun in Bluegrass." Okay.
Yeehaw.
Con does not like this. That inbred music is designed so only people with 6 fingers can play it. Your path is Van Cliburn Camp to Harvard or New York Philharmonic, not Haywagon to Hee Haw. And he just
actually-
kind of claps and says, "Go, time to pack."
A little bluegrass country music history. It was actually a black art form when it was first invented.
yeah.
Bluegrass and country music.
I think all music was, wouldn't it?
Well, what happened was it was appropriated in minstrel shows to make fun of black people, because that's what a lot of minstrel shows did in their national acts. So they traveled around the country mimicking black people with bluegrass and mimicking them with their country
Really?
music, and it took off so well
Yeah.
that they just adopted it and twisted it into an actual like no longer a mockery, but instead they were trying to make real music. And what some of the early musicians did, the Carter, I think it's the Carter sisters or something, or them. I don't know. There was the Carter
sisters
family.
were a
or,
big deal.
I don't know if it was them or something. I can't remember the name of the actual family.
Well, one of the Carters is the one who married. June Carter married Johnny Cash. From the
I
Carter
can't remember
sisters.
the name of it. It was an early family band. I don't know if it was the Carters or not. I want to say it was the Carters.
That's okay.
I think it was the Carter family. Yeah,
It is now the Carters.
Well, what they did is they would actually go to all of these small black communities, rural communities,
Right.
and they would go and listen to their music and what they were playing, and then they would write their song lyrics down and remember their songs, and then that's what they went and recorded for their first commercial album.
Oh,
was
wow.
all of these like underground, like black bluegrass and black country songs.
Oh, that's cool.
There you go, a little country music history for you guys.
I think all music started in that kind of cradle. It's too bad that everybody's stuff gets appropriated by everybody else.
Yeah, but it's good music though.
Okay, so now we see a bus that's pulled up because I'm assuming it's going to take Connie to wherever she's going.
Yeah.
The bus driver changes the little thing on top of it, that says where they're going to be. It starts at Arlen. He changes to Amarillo, and then finally to Fort Worth. Pardon me. Min is there to see her off, which I thought was really weird that they're just going to send their daughter on a bus to this thing.
Yeah, I think
Why
so.
wouldn't they take her?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know.
weird.
It is weird.
I think it's a story device.
I don't know. Like it makes you think that maybe they're a closer neighborhood than we think. Like maybe Con and Hank's relationship is maybe they are really best friends. And okay, so
guess it
this
could
is
be,
my
I don't know.
theory about them too. Is they are best friends. because I have friends where, what's up, you piece of shit, or
Oh,
hey, what's
sure.
up,
Yeah.
you crack addict,
Yeah.
and just stuff like that, or like, oh man, you look like you gained 40 pounds,
Sure.
you big elephant.
Sure.
And there's friends that I have that
You big
relationship
elephant.
with. Well, I'll probably say something worse.
don't wanna
but
be your
I'm
friend.
trying to be as PG as possible. So you'd have that kind of back and forth relationship with a friend where you just talk crap to each other all the time, you know?
Yeah. No,
And
that's absolutely
I
true.
feel
Sure.
like that's what his and Khan's relationship is they're really good friends. Where Hank might sit out there with those 4 guys and drink beers at the alley, they all go home. He still has to live next to them. So I see
That's
them
true,
as
I guess. Yeah.
late night beers by the trash can or something. You know what I mean? That I feel like they have more of a relationship than the show kind of gives us.
Kind of alludes to.
Yeah.
Min says, "We love you, honey. Phone as soon as you get to the host family in Fort Worth. Remember to give him a pineapple." Not sure what that's about.
Yeah.
She gets on the bus. She waves bye to him. The bus leaves
Ta-ta.
because they left. And well, they see her in the bus and they go, "Practice on the bus." The bus leaves. She's not on it. She's on the other side. She's standing on the sidewalk.
Yep.
Now we're in the Hill garage again.
And this is where it kind of gets weird. I feel
Yeah.
like.
It does.
If you're 4 grown men in a neighborhood and you know that this girl is supposed to be somewhere else, but she's chosen to be with you instead.
Well, I mean, to Hank's credit, he took
You're now
her.
entering the twilight zone.
To Hank's credit, he took her word for it. Basically, that's what's coming up here.
Yeah.
We go to Hank's garage.
Yeah, you're right.
And Hank is.
But you gotta verify.
I get it.
You gotta verify to as a parent to another parent, Hank. You've got to verify that the kids
Hank,
ain't lying.
if you're listening,
kids are.
if that is your
well,
real
it was the
name.
'90s, so it didn't matter. Nowadays, parents ask more. I feel like because I used to stay the night at people's houses when I was a kid, and
Oh,
I'd be like,
yeah.
"Hey, mom, I'm going over to so and so's house,"
Nobody
and she's
cared.
like, "Well, I've never heard that name before. Who's that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's so and so from math class. I'm going to go over to his house. He lives over here on this street." She said, "What street?" And I'd give her the street name and number, and that
That's
would
a
be
good
all
way
I
to-
need to do. Really.
That was a good way to go somewhere else. Is what that was.
And I could give a street name to my mom, and it wouldn't really matter because she wouldn't know where the fuck
Oh,
it was
sure.
at
I
anyway.
could
I
tell
could
you,
give her
man,
5 street names, and she wouldn't know where any of them
Yeah,
were.
I used to go to different movies, and I was telling her all kinds of stuff.
Oh man, we used to go to the movie theater all day. It was an all day affair. You go pay for one
Sneak.
ticket and watch 5 movies.
Sneak from one to the other.
until
Yeah.
it was midnight. We used to stay there from open to midnight sometimes.
So we're now in the Hill garage, and Hank is trying a straw hat on Ladybird. He just looks at it and goes, "Aw." You never see that from Hank.
Yeah.
Connie comes running in. "Mr. Hill, my dad said I could go to Branson." So that's how he gets over this thing. "How fast do you think I can get that Dale Gribble Bluegrass experience back together?" He goes, "Well, probably after they finish their beers." He puts a straw.
Whoa, you gotta finish the beer
Yeah, got to
first.
finish their beers
You
before we
can't
drive
play-
you anywhere, little girl.
You can't play bluegrass without a little beer in you
Well,
anyway.
they're
maybe.
drunk too. So he goes, "Hey guys, don't open a new one. We're going to Branson." And you just hear, "We're going to Branson." Yeah, all right. And that is our first commercial break. We'll take that, and we'll be right back.
Right back.
Ned Hillsdale, a hard-drinking, foul-mouthed ex-cop turned private detective in the city of Chicago. He lives dangerously, loves intensely, and drinks harder than anyone. The very things that got him kicked off the force now make him the city's best detective. Set against the low rumble of sad jazz and the hum of underground crime, Ned Hillsdale, Private Detective, is available anywhere you get your podcasts and at roguemedianetwork.com.
And we are back. In between the commercials, the people here on the live got to hear us talk about advertising trends.
Yeah. If you want to see us more on the live, we'll be doing
more on
this.
the live.
Yeah. Well, if you don't know we have a live and you're listening to
That's
this,
true.
because there's a few of you out there that are listening for sure. And if you are listening, please go over to youtube.com/@BWAAAKOTH. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can hang out with me and Mike whenever we are live.
That's what it sounds like when you hit the notification bell.
Oh,
Just like that.
Or-
That's what it sounds like. Wow, I hit the notification bell.
whoop.
All right, so now we're outside. We're packing up in the Bugabago. Pardon me, whoever's going to correct me.
The Bugabago.
He goes, "Come on, Dale, you don't need 2 suitcases." Dale says, they're my jumpsuits. It's what people come to see.
The jumpsuit.
I
So
guess like
he's
Elvis?
he's a Elvis provocateur.
Bobby climbs in. I like that.
Speaking of Elvis,
Provocateur.
there's a Elvis thing coming to town.
I saw that.
Yeah, so my
I
mom.
don't know what the hell that is, though.
My mom, she does. She works at the
At the Elvis factory?
some hotel.
Okay.
She does like the breakfast stuff.
Okay.
And they're staying at her hotel. She was pretty excited about it.
Elvis is staying at her hotel?
The Elvis people have.
Oh, the people putting on the big production.
They put on the big whatever the Elvis
Gotcha.
competition or whatever the hell it is they're doing. I don't know if it's a reenactment.
It's an Elvis-a-thon.
of Elvis's life or
Sure.
what it is. I
Sure.
don't know if it's like there's like Elvises from every stage of his
Spin the
life.
Elvis.
I want the toilet Elvis.
We're
But
getting like a Shabili or whatever that the toilet Shabili or
yeah. But my mom said they were staying at her hotel, and she's a big Elvis fan, so she was pretty stoked.
They've had. I will tell you this,
Them
and this
coming
is
to
inside baseball for Waco, but
Yeah.
they've had those billboards up for like a year.
Oh, the
They've been up
Elvis
for-
thing.
Yeah, they've been up for a very long time.
They're back to marketing.
proud of that.
Back to marketing. They have really outdone themselves with notifying the community about this Elvis shindig. I don't know what it is they're doing, but I'm interested.
Yeah, I mean, I would go see it. You know,
I like Elvis, and I like what do they call them? Imitators. What the hell do they call
tribute, like tribute bands.
Well, I like tribute bands. But there's another name for it. What do they call it? Impersonators. I like Elvis my favorite impersonators are Elvis impersonators and Ringo Starr impersonators.
Ringo Starr impersonators.
Yeah.
That's neat.
There's not very many of them out there, but the ones that are, it's indiscernible sometimes. Dolly Parton once entered a Dolly Parton lookalike contest and got
She came in like third or fourth.
something.
Yeah. I've heard that. Here, I don't really care. Who knows what age I am, but I saw Elvis live
You saw Elvis live?
when I was a baby. Yeah, I was
Wow.
only like 3 or 4.
Yeah, it's when he came into Waco in the
No.
60s, right? No?
Went to the Astrodome.
Oh, in Houston.
Yeah.
Okay.
Went
That's
to
a
the-
big one then.
Went to the Astrodome with my parents.
I bet you that sucker was packed
It was
to the
it was Fat Elvis
gills.
too. It was big old Elvis at that
Yeah,
time.
I see, but he was probably packing stadiums better as big Elvis than skinny Elvis.
I think it was 74.
Oh, 74. Yeah, he
Something
would have
like
been
Yeah.
on the way out.
Yeah, he was definitely on the way out. I've got a button around here somewhere, just Elvis's face.
That's what he would just go, hey, baby, I'm just forgetting song
All right,
lyrics.
baby. At least you bought a button.
He would, that's all right, Daddy. I mean, Mama.
He
He was messing his lyrics up. Actually, my favorite Elvis recording is the Burbank sessions when he's all in the all leather.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's with NBC. I think it was with NBC, the Burbank.
It
and
was.
then they
it was
had the
NBC.
round. It was
Yeah.
on a round
It was
stage.
at yeah. It was like a special deal, like the whole thing.
It was his comeback. That was like his.
It was a '68 comeback special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to be one of the best recordings, like live music recordings.
And I'm sorry, we'll be done here in a second. But my favorite Elvis song is it's like a hymnal, like a spiritual.
Oh, okay.
It is Hand in the Hand or something like
Hand
that.
in the hand in the.
He's a man who put the hand in the hand of the something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's more of like a gospel song.
Yeah.
I don't like it because it's a gospel song. I just like the song. I just think it's
I like
good.
the song. I like all his. I think his
Yeah.
gospel music is really good because that's really his like the root of his. His music is in church and the black music around him that was around him in Tupelo, Mississippi.
Absolutely.
Artie's old too. He didn't want to reveal his age, but he said that his parents also saw Elvis in his on
At the
same
Astrodome?
no on the same
We
tour.
were sitting next to each other.
No.
What
On
happened?
it was on the same tour that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But it was in Syracuse.
Oh yeah, Syracuse, New
So
York.
they
Yeah.
said he was too young to go, so he didn't get to go.
Yeah.
But your parents are wonton
My
and
parents
live
didn't give a
life.
crap.
Yeah,
Yeah, they didn't give a crap.
They're out there just living free.
They were.
They took you to the Summer of Love too.
Oh
didn't
boy,
they?
you ain't kidding. My parents and the Summer of Love. That's the way it goes. They no. I think the most reckless thing I've ever seen my parents do is we went to 3 movies in one night.
What?
Yeah, that was it.
I've
That's
never
about
done
as
that in my
reckless as it
life.
got.
That's
Well,
crazy.
I will tell you this though. They got me out of school to go do it.
Oh,
They used
that's
to
even
get me.
crazy.
They used to take me out of school to go watch movies.
Oh, they were big movie buffs.
So, like when Superman, the first one with Christopher Reeve,
Yeah,
came
yeah.
out, we went to the 25th Street
That's
Theater
why
to see
you
it.
like movies.
Oh, yeah.
that makes
Oh,
a
it was
lot of
instilled
sense.
in me
yeah,
as a-
yeah,
as
yeah.
a
That
kid.
makes a lot of sense. That's kind of like my dad with television too, because I think it might be just older generations.
It's
they
just that
didn't have
generation.
a lot of that stuff in their face as kids.
No.
So when they became adults, that became like a big thing for my dad. My dad will literally, it does not matter what you put on TV.
Yeah,
My dad
yeah.
will watch television.
When I was a small kid, we only had 3 channels. You know, we had ABC,
Yeah,
NBC,
for
and CBS. And then we finally got cable, and that was the greatest thing that had ever happened to me because all of a sudden I've got like 18 channels.
Now, we had 5 channels when I was watching TV, so we only had like 2 more channels. We got Fox 44, and then we got KWBU, so we had the regular 3 and then those 2. You might get UPN out of Dallas. You know,
I remember when
on
Fox
a good,
44
clear
came
night.
online, they you had to go to
It was the 80s, wasn't it?
you had to go to the 7-Eleven and buy a UHF antenna for your TV.
Because all the channels around here were VHF
Yeah,
at the time, and that was the only
they would
UHF
sell them,
channel.
They would sell them at the 7-Eleven, which I thought was actually kind of cool.
Yeah, because that would have been the only. Because what
Yeah.
does it go to, like channel 20 something for VHF,
Something like that.
and
Yeah.
then UHF is higher. That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I had to go down to the 7-Eleven to get
went
an
to the
antenna
I was at
boosted.
the 7-Eleven all the time. I'll tell you one time about how I got stopped by the police coming out of a 7-Eleven.
Oh hell yeah!
Okay,
I
so
got a 7-Eleven story too.
do you?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna do a 7-Eleven only podcast. Maybe that's a Friday.
Maybe we should record it in a 7-Eleven.
We should record it in a 7-Eleven, but we got to wait till July 11th.
Yeah, there you go.
So let's see, where the hell are we? That's what the people come see is my jumpsuits. Hank says, Bobby, I can't babysit you and Bill, and he's in the band. You look over, Bill is like slouched against the fence, and he goes, Bill, spit that out. Bill spits out a bunch of rocks and pebbles.
I'm not sure
Throws
what
them
he's
on the
doing with
ground.
rocks and pebbles in his mouth, but yeah,
He's
he's
like
got
a
a
little
mouthful of
child.
rocks.
He's got a mouthful of rocks. All right, so
I like rocks. There's a comedian that's up and budding that was on Kill Tony. He's been doing it for about a year now as a regular guest on there.
Yeah.
And his whole first bit was I like rocks, and he was talking about I'm not autistic, but I just like rocks. I like the way they feel. And you know what he does to make money at shows?
Shoves
He
rocks in
goes
his
and
butt.
buys a $20 bag of rocks at Home Depot, a big bag of rocks,
sells rocks.
and sells them for $15, $20 a piece. He's making a killing every show just off of selling little rocks, little decorated rocks.
I'd like to sell y'all a rock. If anybody
that's
wants a rock,
crazy.
let me know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Shout
Shout out Cam Patterson is his name. If y'all want to check him out, he's pretty funny.
Bobby says, I'm coming with you. Yakov Smirnoff is in Branson, and he's a stepping stone on my comedy writing future.
Yakov
Let's talk about
Smirnoff.
Yakov Smirnoff. You know him?
I
have you
know
ever
of
seen
him. I know that his whole shtick was he wore like the Cossack hat, the furry Russian hat, and he would do jokes like in America coffee is cheap. In Russia we have no coffee.
Yeah.
Those kind of jokes. He
Yeah.
had like that deprecate. It was during the Cold War era, so you could make
it was
Russian
the,
and
it was the
American
late 80s,
jokes.
right? Late 80s.
The end of the
early
Cold War,
90s.
yeah.
You were just like, everything had been beat into us about how great America is, including the Rocky movie, like Rocky IV and all that stuff.
Oh, that was huge.
And
yeah,
so
it was
when
huge for
Yakov
American
showed
nationalism.
up, because we hated Russia so much, everybody was just like, oh, yeah, this guy really gives it to him.
Yeah.
It was about the same time you had the Iron Sheik in WWE or WWF at the time.
The Iron Sheik,
and all that
still, you know what he said? I know he's passed away, but his PR team I think he's passed away. I don't know.
Yeah, he did.
I think he did. His PR team that runs his...
It's not made of iron.
Because he had a huge rival with Hulk Hogan. And Hulk Hogan
was a turd,
was
by the
at the RNC or whatever and ripped his
Not
shirt
because
off
of
and all
that.
that.
He's
no,
just
not
a
because of
turd
that.
in life.
In life and,
lies all
and
the
in the WWE too. He was
Just a liar.
People say that he was good to work with, but he was slightly intolerable. But
What'd you say, brother?
yeah, the Sheik said they posted on his Twitter or whatever, like, because he had a big, like I said, they were been posting the links, like saying Hulk Hogan's a pussy and all this stuff on the Iron Sheik's Twitter. I thought it was pretty funny.
Iron Sheik was something else.
He was pretty good too. I like
He
the
was
Iron
great.
Sheik too.
He was great.
If anybody wants to start a wrestling podcast,
I'll take it.
there are no wrestling podcasts currently right now on the Rogue Media Network, and,
No, but
we
there's-
do have a sports side that is just open.
We
so
do. We have a lot
if anybody
of
wants
sports
to
shows.
do a wrestling podcast, teach me something, because I don't really know as much about wrestling as people who grew up with it in America. I didn't get wrestling until I was a little older.
So Bobby says he's going to go see Yakov Smirnoff because
Yakov
he's
Smirnoff.
in Branson. Hank says, all right, but you better sleep the whole way. And then they drive by Con, who's outside, and he goes, we'll be careful. Con
And he
looks
waves,
out.
too,
Con,
yeah.
and Con looks out and goes, what do I care? I mean, he doesn't, because he doesn't
Doesn't
know
at
his
all.
kid's there. By the way, they're driving down Highway 76. So I don't know if that helps us in our quest to find out where all this stuff's at. All right.
Highway 76 is goes through Branson, so it's like
Okay.
I want to say it's like the main highway that runs through Branson. Give me just a, yeah, it's funny they say Highway 76 into Branson because the location of that highway would mean that they came from the east. That highway is like an east to west highway, so that would have been a weird highway for them to go down. But yeah, Highway 76 is a real highway. Missouri Highway 76.
Missouri.
If it's not Missouri Highway 76, there's an Oklahoma Highway 76. So they could be going through Oklahoma on their way to Missouri. I mean,
That
maybe
makes sense.
that makes more.
So
Because if you're going to Missouri from Texas, there's only two ways you could go. So actually, yeah, they could have went through Arkansas, and 76 is an east to west highway, so they could have came up north through Arkansas and then hit the east to west 76.
Sure.
So that there we go. We're trying to give you some idea of logistically how this is.
So
going
they
down.
stop at a gas station, and this is how long ago Connie goes up to a payphone.
Payphone at a gas station.
That's right.
When was the last time you seen one of those?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
She goes, "Hi, Dad. Fort Worth is great." He goes, "What's the competition like? Is Tim Wu there?" I'm assuming Tim Wu is our big competition.
Tim Wu, yeah.
She says, "Yeah, but he hurt his hand stealing a Coke from the Coke machine." Bobby comes up and goes, "Hey, Connie, is my tongue blue?" Sticks his tongue out because he's had a Slurpee or whatever they call it there, an icy
An icy. The
slush
7-Eleven
puppy.
ices.
something.
I've never heard it called a slush puppy.
Really, you've
That's-
never heard of
that's new
slush
one.
puppy?
No, I heard hush puppies.
So,
But that just cornbread is that all a hush puppy is? Just a ball of cornbread?
pretty much, yeah. But a slush puppy was when I was small. They had slush puppies at Kmart, and then the gas station catty corner to where Waco High is. There was always a slush puppy machine over there. And the cool thing about slush puppies is they were little bitty pieces of ice, little tiny bitty pieces of ice. So it felt different.
Yeah, it was like a different
It's a
shade of
different
ice.
texture.
Yeah, the Slurpee.
Slush puppy.
The Slurpee, as it's called, or the slushy, or whatever. The inventor of that was actually a dude named Omar Nedlick.
Omar Slushy.
And he used it to make frozen beverages. What happened was his soda fountain broke down, and he had to put his sodas in the freezer to keep them cool, and they kind of went slush. And he was like, "Oh, I could make slushies."
That makes total
So
sense.
that's how he came up with the idea for slushies. He actually invented the machine and everything that do it. He used parts of an old automobile air conditioner to build a frozen beverage machine.
So
there you go.
This, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to, the ones that are on the live, this is how I remember Slush Puppy. That was, it's a little dog in a hat with a big S on his shirt, and
Yep.
it just says Slush Puppy.
It was actually born
those are my
inside of
favorite.
slushies were actually born inside of Dairy Queen. So the guy actually ran in Kansas City. He ran a Dairy Queen franchise, and when he stashed his soda pop in the freezer, that's when he realized that. So what he did is he worked with an artist to develop this new brand for his drinks when he realized this idea, and then he introduced the world to Icy.
Icy!
And
Icy
then-
was always my favorite.
And then that's
Slurpee's
pretty much
chunky. Slush Puppy's in between the two.
yeah, and that's pretty much how
And that's the
7-Eleven
history of frozen drinks.
that's how 7-Eleven got the machine. Was they bought the machine off of him?
Oh, really?
And then they relicensed it from Icy to Slurpee, so they called it Slurpee.
So
there
Bobby
you go.
comes by with his blue tongue and says something, and she's like, "Oh my God, he can't hear it." And you hear Con say, "Who's that?" She goes, "It's Tim Wu. His tongue is blue." "Dad, I got to go practice some more." He goes, "Yeah, go practice." "Okay, Dad, I love you." "Stop talking. Go practice." Hangs up. Now they're back on the road. Bobby is back there regaling Bill with the finer points of comedy. And he says, "The key to writing a good Yakov Smirnoff joke is picturing yourself arriving in America and noticing that it is different from Russia." That's a good point, Bobby. Nice job. Bill says, "Yeah, and when Yakov says 'I reckon' and 'y'all' in his accent, I just lose it. It's brilliant, really." That's not brilliant, but okay.
We got blah 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 says he has a slush puppy machine that he bought from
Holy
an old
crap.
campground.
Really?
Yeah, he's got an old slush puppy machine.
What do you do with it?
Mail it to us is what you do with
What,
it. So we can.
I mean, is he
eat
doing
slush
something with it
puppies.
now?
I don't know what he's doing with it. He just said he has one that he had bought from a campground.
Yeah, that
which I
makes
think
me-
that's pretty cool.
That makes me very happy to know that somebody's taking care of one of those machines. You hear Dale say, who's driving, The only thing brilliant, really, about Yakov Smirnov is that he's a KGB spy. He's been sending U.S. secrets back to Mother Russia while tourists are seduced by his fake comedy act, although his beard is real. Bobby says, oh, this joke will kill you. You want to hear it? Hank says, no, not really. The band needs to practice till we're perfect. I don't want to tarnish our reputation before we have one. God dang, you're kind of being a dick. Connie says, okay, but first I want to hear the joke. Because, I mean, she's listening to Bobby speak. You know, she's listening to the words. He says, okay, here goes. In America, you put "In God We Trust" on our money.
Yep.
In Russia, we have no money.
We have no money. Yeah.
Everybody except for Hank laughs. And Hank immediately responds with, come on, focus.
Oh, blah, blah, blah.
Sucks.
Answered. I said, you could send it to us so we could eat slushies. And he says, it'll have to be freight. I said, he said, it's a decoration. I said,
yeah.
we could do KOTH themed slushies.
Oh, yeah. I'd probably
We could
pay for that
do, we could do the
freight.
slutty.
Where's he located?
Oh, I don't
what part
know.
of the country is he located?
We could do
Or
the
they located?
slutty Peggy, and it could be like a margarita slushy
Slutty Peggy.
with an olive.
And it's like the slush puppy, but it's got Peggy's face.
What's a margarita? A slushy margarita, but
Yeah.
with 2 olives.
2 olives, yum. Okay, so Bobby
Ohio. He would have to ship it from Ohio.
Bobby feels really bad because he's his dad didn't like his joke. You know, he's being told to basically shut up and let him practice. Hank says, does anybody remember why we're going to Branson? You hear, fiddle contest. And then Connie says, and to have fun. I mean, every even in math camp, we played chess. Hank says, yeah, we're going to have fun, but you know what's not fun? Being ill-prepared. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And they all start to play. Connie looks pretty sad.
Yeah, she's
And by the way,
she wants to play
Dale
music for fun.
Yeah.
and I feel like they're taking the fun out of everything.
Dale's
for her.
playing the little keyboard, but while he's driving at the same time, which is always
Pretty
fun.
dangerous, but we'll take it.
Yeah. All right, so they pull up, and on the marquee outside, it says the 15th Old Time Annual Fiddle Festival. So that's a little bit different than what they said to begin with.
Which would be wrong. Artie did the math on it. He said that if it was the 15th annual, that would have happened in 1968.
Holy crap, really?
This one would be the 49th because the first one was in
That's just misspelling.
1953. So the first one's 1953, and then
They
this
just didn't
one
take
would
the
be
letters
the
down.
49th. Yeah,
That's
they
what it
just
was.
didn't take the letters. They've just
so
been
they're-
hanging for 40 years.
in the that's not beyond the
It's
pale.
not. It's not at all.
They're in they're in
I believe it.
backstage. Hank is filling out the paperwork and goes, cough up $2 and we'll be officially entered. No turning back now. And then we get from Dale, hey, it's now here's a discrepancy. In the show, he goes, it's 10 to 5. On the script here, it says 4:50. Technically the same things, but that's not what he said.
Yeah, no, it's not
He
what
goes,
he said.
hey, it's 10 to 5. You think it's too late to get seats for the 5 o'clock Yakov? Hank says, well, maybe you can get Yakov to write you an autograph. Dear Dale, hope the show was worth throwing away that young girl's musical career. Yours truly, Yakov. And
He goes,
Dale's,
can do.
can do,
will
will
do.
do. Come on, Connie. He goes, okay, Connie, just tell them you're not interested, so they'll drop it. She goes, well, he goes, see, she's not interested. All of them walk off except for Connie. Connie's angry, which I don't blame her because Hank is starting to turn into her father.
Yeah, and that's not what she wants. She wants
No.
fun.
She wanted to have
and
fun with her music.
Bluegrass was fun to her, and when you
Was.
drill somebody in something that's fun,
Yeah.
it just becomes unfun.
I mean, it was brand new to her. She had never really heard this kind of stuff. Didn't realize she could play this
You
kind
see
of
it
stuff.
a lot with kids who were forced to play sports all the way through their life.
Yeah.
They go through college
True.
playing that sport as D1 athletes, and then when they're done,
T1.
they're just like when they're done at the highest level, they have
Their
they
life
have this
is-
sense of
Just have a hole
sense
in
of
their life.
emptiness as like, well, who am I? I've read it a lot. I'm not saying it's everybody, but I've read a lot of stories about athletes that
Well,
finish
that's how you
their
turn
careers.
into Al Bundy. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
basically how you turn into him.
They finish whatever their sport career is and whatever sport it is, whether it's gymnastics, football, hockey, whatever, and then they're like, well, I only did this because my mom wanted me to do it. Now, what do I do with
Now,
myself?
what do I do with my life?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what do I do now?
We're back at Con's. Con is putting up a congratulations, Connie banner.
Work at an aluminum can factory.
That's
That's
right.
what you do now.
Min said, where do we put the gift? Con says, mess up her bed and hide it underneath her pillow. And when she come home from audition, we'll scream at her, Con Jr., clean up your filthy room. And when she cleans it up, that's when she'll find Limoges' violin. And so he goes to put it under her pillow. He finds the CDs. He goes, Bill Monroe, the Foggy Mountain Boys. Min, have you seen this pornography? She goes, don't worry, she's in Fort Worth. We throw it out before she gets back. He goes, wait a minute. Tim Wu hates Coca-Cola. And he pulls out that Branson flyer. And he goes, Connie's in Branson! So her secret has been found. Now we are at the Yakov Theater. I suppose he's got his own theater in Branson because it's just his head and a horse's head right next to it on the marquee.
There is so I googled this. I googled this and it says
I googled this in Russia and I
this,
get nothing. Here I get everything.
In Google there is no Russia.
In Russia there is no Google.
So there is a Yakov's theater that is in Branson. There is a Yakov's theater.
That's the one that Pee Wee Herman got stuck in.
Yeah, it's called Yakov Comedy. And, of course, it's ran by legendary. Apparently, he's a podcaster. He's got a podcast.
Yakov Smirnoff does?
Yakov Smirnoff, apparently, because it says podcaster also in his title.
All right.
And apparently he has lots of shows on his calendars here.
I'm sure he does. He's got a residency in Branson.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's a residency.
14 years old.
It's pretty much a residency in Branson.
They show him on the stage standing there with a horse. And he goes, I've been learning English for 20 years. Now I moved to the Ozarks. I have to start all over again. Mel Tillis is teaching me English. It's taking a lot longer than I expected.
So you're telling me that Yakov Smirnoff has a residency in Branson for the last 20, 30 years?
I guess
I'm sorry,
so.
I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, I get it.
I'm just kind of like...
Things hit us how they hit us. Yeah,
I was just looking through his page here because they have a whole... and Jeff Allen apparently is also somebody that has a residency
He's 73,
with him.
which, I mean, is not terrible.
He doesn't look
honestly.
73 on his website.
No.
On his website, he looks like he's
I thought he was a lot.
over.
I thought he was a lot older than this. And by the way, he's from the Ukraine, which I didn't realize that either. Didn't realize he was around that area.
Yeah, well, it was Soviet Union at the time, but yeah, he's from the Ukraine area of the Soviet Union.
Yeah, he's got 2 kids.
He was actually the thing that really helped him, as you and I know as fans of late night. He was on Carson, and without Carson, probably would never know who Yakov Smirnoff is.
That's true. Carson used to find these kind of guys. Like his team was really good at finding stand-up.
Oh, he was also in What a Country, though, which is a star-studded movie. It's got Tom Hanks, Robin Williams, Richard Pryor, Meryl Streep, Jack Nicholson.
Oh, wow.
I've never seen that movie, but
I haven't either. I don't even know if I know what it is.
That's where he gets his catchphrase, "What a country."
What a country.
Oh, no, he starred in movies with those people. Sorry.
Gotcha.
He has been in movies with those people, not in one movie. What a country is his catchphrase because he had his own TV show called What a Country.
And you know Mel Tillis, he was a stutterer. That's where this joke comes from. Mel Tillis, he would stutter unless he sang. When he sang, he didn't have any problems, but when he talked, he would stutter. So that's why he's saying Mel Tillis is teaching me English, so it's taking a lot longer than I expected.
He actually also, it's kind of funny, this is a really odd Yakov Smirnoff quote, but there was at Ground Zero on the first anniversary of the 9/11 attacks, there was a mural that he did, and that's where they assembled. They all assembled underneath the Yakov Smirnoff mural. He had drew this big mural called America's Heart, and that's where they assembled underneath.
Well, that's cool.
His mural that he did whenever they did the ceremony. I thought that was kind of crazy.
Know that Yakov was a painter.
I didn't know that Yakov Smirnoff was
Yakov will get you
a real human being or alive.
So the whole audience cracks up when he does that. Dale seems a bit concerned.
Yeah, Dale does.
Later, we're at a signature line, so people are lining up to get his signature and a picture with him. He goes, Yakov Smirnoff is not my real name. It used to be Jack Daniels. So that's another joke. Bobby comes up and says, Mr. Smirnoff, I would one day like to be a comedian like yourself. I've written an In America and in Russia joke that I think you'll think is very funny. Shows it to Yakov. Yakov says, hey, kid, I don't tell Russian jokes for the last 10 years. Now I do jokes about relationships and things I observe. He looks at it.
Comedy, that's what he's talking about. That's a good joke in its own.
He looks at the joke. He kind of laughs a little bit, gives it a big pause, and goes, I'll give you 20 American. Keep them coming. So he gives Bobby $20. So honestly, if we ever in this reboot get to a point where Bobby is a comedian, this is where his first transaction took place.
You know what I think it's going to be like when we get Bobby? It's going to be like an episode of The Bear.
Yeah.
Have you seen
probably.
The Bear? Yeah,
probably.
I think it's going to be more like that, and that'll be. I'm cool with that. A food oriented show with just Bobby Hill would be great.
I hope that
imagine a Bobby Hill cooking show where Pamela Adlon, they do all the like an actual cooking show with real recipes, but it's Bobby doing a Gordon Ramsay-esque
I would like that.
thing.
Yeah, I would like that.
Probability
I just hope,
0, but it would be
Well, sure.
awesome. Yeah, it'd be
but
awesome.
I hope that while he's in this, fancy restaurant, that he still goes to like open mics or something and does his stand up.
It'd be cool to see something like that. Yeah.
By the way, you're talking about an animated show. I read today that Evil Dead is getting an animated show with Bruce Campbell as the voice.
Speaking of Evil Dead,
I was very excited.
speaking of Evil Dead, I've been watching Joe Bob Briggs.
Yeah, he's having a big run.
He's having a really good. He's got 6 seasons right now on Shudder, and this
Shudder
season
was
is
made
his.
for him. I mean,
Well, literally, he's
perfect.
the only. I think he might be one of the biggest contributors to their success because as a kid, my first experiences with horror movies was on Monster Vision on TNT. We might have talked about this before.
Yeah, we
I
have.
think we have.
But
But it was
okay.
Monster Vision on TNT. So I've been catching him every other
Dude
Friday.
has been around for a bit.
He's 70. I didn't know he was
He's
70.
been around for a bit.
And
And just like
I
Elvira,
like it.
same thing. I mean, they've
yeah,
both
she
been around
looks-
forever.
But it's like that's the thing is people call him the devil and all that, but these are the only people that never age.
yeah, no, they have not aged. Tom Cruise aged just a tiny bit. Brad Pitt doesn't age real a whole lot. Nor does shit. I don't know. Somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay, so this could be the place where he started his career. He says, "Keep them coming." Dale springs into action, and sprays him right in the eyes with like pepper spray. Which I don't know what the plan was past this, Dale. You spray a superstar in the eyes with your pepper spray, and then you just stand there. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I don't know how that works either.
You see the security start to come. Yakov's on the ground like, "Oh, why'd you do that?" And Dale says, "Save the sweet guy act for the tourist, Nikolai. The CIA will be here momentarily. I called him during the Statue of Liberty dance number." Bobby says, "You okay?" He goes, "Oh, my left eye really burns." He's faking it, Bobby. It's all part of his act, which, by the way, is very funny. And then you see security running up, and they're going, "There he is." And so they both run off. So now we've got fugitives.
Fugitives from the law.
Now we're backstage at the contest. Bill says, "Yakov was so funny. He should be the center square." I'm so sick of Whoopi. And then Dale says, "Oh, we got to meet him after the show. Great guy." You sprayed him in the freaking eyes, Dale.
Yeah, you definitely did.
That's assault.
It's definitely assault. At least where I'm from.
In Russia, that's assault.
In Russia,
Hank says,
it's assault.
Hank says, "Where you guys been? I've had to deal with the Bluegrass brothers all by myself. They've been staring at me, twiddling their beards and trying to psych me out." Bobby says, "Dad, I sold my joke to Yakov. I'm a professional comedy writer." Shows him the $20. Hank, again, not his finest moment, says, "Look, I told you to stay out of my wallet," and takes the $20 back from him. That's rough, man, because Bobby is just like, "Oh, shit, look what I did. I thought he was going to be proud of me." Connie gets a little mad, too. And then the backstage hand comes out, letting everybody know when they're going on stage. He goes, "Dale Gribble, Bluegrass Experience." Boomhauer's like, "Yo, man." He goes, "Y'all on after the Harris twins. One holds a fiddle while the other holds a bow. They're good."
That's crazy. I don't know how that works.
Hank says, "Oh, God, well, this is it, Connie. Your dream to become a professional bluegrass musician. Don't blow it." Jesus, Hank. She goes, "My dream, Mr. Hill." He goes, "Come on, Connie, focus. Resin up your bow and focus." She goes, No
Rousing
more.
up your bow.
No more rosin. No more your see the fiddle, be the fiddle rhetoric, which we've never heard. I don't want to be a professional bluegrass musician. I quit. And she runs off. Bobby
Takes
says,
off running.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
she's out of there.
And Bobby's like, "Well, I quit too, even though I'm not in the band." And he leaves to follow, which I thought was pretty funny. Hank says, "Wait, what? Where are you going? The twins are finishing. Connie!" And he runs after her, and Dale says to Bill, "Well, I saw that coming, yet I did nothing to stop it. Why do I fear success?" And that's it. That takes us to the second commercial break. We'll take that, and we'll be
Right back.
back in 2 and 2.
Snack Attack is a podcast about the history of your favorite snacks, candies, and treats. Each 5-minute or less episode features the history of a great snack from around the world. We'll also visit what the status of the snack is today and give you a little knowledge to lord over your friend. Snack Attack is available anywhere you get your podcast or at roguemedianetwork.com. Let's get snacking.
Step into the unexpected with Cultastic, or How to Start a Cult Without Really Trying. A podcast where cult creation unfolds in the most unpredictable way. Join us on a unique journey into the world of theoretical cult formation. Unlike any other podcast, each episode of Cultastic is co-written in part using ChatGPT, and we let it decide our fate, good or bad. What makes Cultastic truly intriguing? We don't know what's coming each week. Together with our AI co-author, we'll discover and build this cult, one episode at a time, exploring various aspects of cult dynamics, leadership, and group psychology. Delve into themes of charisma, influence, and the power of group thinking. It's a blend of expert analysis, theoretical exploration, and the unforeseen twists of AI-generated ideas. Remember, Cultastic is an exercise in imagination and education where we weave a narrative one episode and one tenant at a time. Curious about where this journey will take us? Subscribe to Cultastic or How to Start a Cult without really trying on your favorite podcast platform or at roguemedianetwork.com. Let's build this mission to save the people of Earth, week by unpredictable week.
And we're back from
And
that
we're
second
back.
commercial announcement.
Can you eat 50
Say it one more time.
eggs? Oh. I don't even remember what I was saying.
No,
now.
man.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what's funny now. If that man says he can eat 50 eggs, he can eat 50 eggs.
No man can eat 50 eggs.
There you go.
All right, so we're backstage at the contest still. Everybody's warming up. There's
Yep.
a bunch of them back there now.
Might be the longest episode we've ever recorded.
It's pretty long. Hank says, maybe Connie ran off of stage fright. Bill says, okay, I'm not afraid to say it. We're a novelty band without Connie. Well, no shit.
No shit. She's the talent, man.
Hank says, it's going to be fine.
Do you think Buddy Holly and the Crickets were called Buddy
the
Holly
Crickets?
and the Crickets because of the Crickets? No, it's because of the Buddy Holly. Without that, that's all you would hear is crickets.
He says, you guys stall the audience until I get her back. Boom, Howard, you're good at stage patter. He goes, yeah, maybe I'll give him a bit of little, hey, man, how you doing in Branson Band? Let me hear you say, yeah. He goes, great, perfect, do that. And he just leaves. They go looking up and down the street. He goes, he looks this way, he looks that way. He looks back, boom, there's Khan's face, right? I mean, it just, boom, out of nowhere.
Bada bing.
He goes, you kidnapped my daughter and took her across straight lines to play hillbilly music against her will. I've been looking for a reason to put you in jail, and now I have it. And he's poking Hank in the chest, which I thought was going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Instead, Hank goes, what are you talking about? You gave her permission to come with us. Never. I make sure she practiced Mozart, get into Van Cliburn, then Ivy League Orchestra. From there, she played Paris, Rome. I take her back to my hometown of La and stick it up their nose. He goes, that's why she ran away from you. He goes, oh? She goes, she'd rather play Bluegrass and win this contest and then get a record deal and open up the Connie Sousa News and Phone Theater. Oh. And it hits him like a ton of freaking bricks. He realizes he's doing the same thing, and he goes, I'm a jackass. He goes, stop stating the obvious. Where's my daughter? He goes, I don't know. I'm sure she's fine. She's with Bobby. He goes, great. That narrows it down. Now all we have to do is check every free buffet in town.
Yeah.
What a shitty thing to say. All right, Bobby and Connie are walking down the main street in Branson, which I don't know what the name of that street is. Bobby says, how about this one? I've been working out with weights. Every time someone says, let's work out, I say, wait. Which,
wait.
honestly, Bobby, not a bad joke.
Not a bad one. I'll give it to him.
Yeah, if you're doing the whole "take my wife, please" kind of routine, that's a great joke.
That's a good one.
Connie says, "That's funny, Bobby." Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just sick of our dads putting pressure on me. He goes, well, at least they're paying attention. It feels like I'm always playing to an empty house. Ooh, that's a big one right there.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Imagine your dad taking more interest in the neighbor girl than you.
That sucks.
Yikes.
That really does suck. Connie says, you know what I'd love to do? I'd run away to the Appalachian Mountains and play bluegrass all day long with people who know that music is about having fun. People who sing and smile, even though they're poor and their faces are smudged with coal.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. That sentence just makes me very happy. Bobby says, and I can wear overalls with no shirt and tell jokes about the high cost of mules. Let's do it. What an exchange that is.
The high cost of mules.
They both run
Damn.
off. Now we're back stage again, and you hear the stagehand come out, and he goes, Dale Gribble Bluegrass Experience, you're up. Bill says, they're not here. They're locked in a vault. He goes, what? Locked in a vault? Dale says, hold on, screw Connie. I got us even better fiddle player. May I present to you Mr. Charlie Daniels? And it really is like freaking Charlie Daniels.
Yeah.
Which is insane because this is the second time Charlie Daniels has been on this show.
This is, yeah. And if you want to buy a mule, now that they've mentioned
Buy
a mule, if you want to buy a mule, you go to ehorses.com. ehorses.com/buy-horse/mule. Well, it is. It's ehorses.com/buy-horse/mule.html. So you could go there. They've got trail horses. They've got leisure horses. They've got a 4-year-old Appaloosa Molly mule.
Sure.
They've got an 8-year-old Dunskin. He's about 15 hands high.
There was a girl in my school. They called it Appalachian Dun Hands or whatever you just said. It was a good joke when it was in my head, and then it came out and it was bad.
They got a bunch of Molly mules and some
Molly mules.
Donk Quixote
They
mules.
love everybody.
Yeah, that's funny. I really didn't think there was a place that they sell stuff, but today they have sold 465. They have a little counter that shows how many horses have been sold today on their website. They sold 465 horses today. Today, and there's 416 new listings today. So
holy
if
shit.
you're looking for a horse,
there's a lot of horses and
no
mules.
fucking lie, go to ehorses.com today. And if you're affiliated with ehorses.com,
we would love to sponsor you. We would love for you to
to
sponsor us, vice versa. We would
need
like a
some
mule.
money.
I'd like a mule named Mike and a mule named Rusty at your place.
Yeah.
And then you tell us, and we'll put a big banner on everything. We'll talk about e-mules or
I'll save
e-horse or whatever all
gas and I'll ride in the e-mule horse.
Oh, that sounds great.
I'll ride it into the podcast
I'd ride
studio.
it. Sure.
Up to the 21st floor. We'll do the stairs. Well, because mules are really good. They use mules in like they use them in the Grand Canyon. So if they can go up the Grand Canyon, they could hit 21
There's
flights.
a sticker on the outside of this building that says no pets allowed, and that's because of us. We let somebody in with a couple of dogs that kind of ran nuts.
Oh no!
And then the next day that was in there, but it
No
doesn't
pets.
say no horses.
Well, it doesn't say no.
Certainly
yeah, well,
doesn't say no mules.
I'm gonna get my horse emotional animal certified, so I could
again,
walk the horse in here.
Emotional support animals, dogs, tiny horses. They're both of equal value.
I think so, and I think the horse might be more intelligent than the dog.
Okay, so he goes, may I present Mr. Charlie Daniels? We got to get through this thing. May I present Mr. Charlie Daniels? Charlie Daniels pops up and goes, where's this young fiddle player whose final wish was to meet me? God, what a
God damn.
Dale,
Who said that?
Dale said it. He goes, well, actually,
Dale.
you're too late. So he says she's dead. But her other final wish was that she play with us her favorite song on stage now. So what do I tell her parents? Tell them I'll play till my fiddle catches fire. So they all go on stage. They all start playing. We're now at the Branson Bus Depot. Both Connie and Bobby are at the counter. You hear an overhead announcement that says, Bus for Hollister will be departing in 20 minutes. Connie goes, oh, we can't afford bus tickets. We only have enough money for a T-shirt or a row of seats at the Andy Williams show.
I don't know who that is.
Andy Williams, very old singer. Bobby says, well, I could go for either, but it's up to you.
Old for then or old for now?
Yes.
Both?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so he was old.
Very much
so.
so.
He was old.
Yeah,
yes,
very much so.
yeah, definitely old.
Yeah, he's definitely older now.
No longer with us. Yeah.
No, I doubt it. If he is, then okay. So she looks out the window and she sees a guy juggling. He's basically busking, where you perform on the street, people throw money into your suitcase or whatever. She goes, Bobby, we're going to be in Appalachia by sundown. And she opens up her violin case and you kind of see their reflection in it. Now, we've got Con and Hank still walking around looking for the kids. Hank says, why do we do it, Con? Why do we push Connie so hard? Just Connie? Really? That's the one in your head? He goes, Con says, I do it because she has a lot of talent. I want what's best for her. You do it. Well, frankly, I'm flummoxed. Back off. Push Bobby. He goes, well, he doesn't like sports. Doesn't like
Flummoxed.
Flummoxed.
That's a hell of a word for a cartoon.
He doesn't play an instrument. There's nothing to push him into. He goes, yeah, he's going to be a loser, all right. Jesus Christ.
God
he goes,
dang.
now, hold on. Bobby's not a loser. Say that again, and I'll pop you in the chops. He goes, okay. One hillbilly starts swinging. Soon the whole town join in. He goes, for your information, a lot of people think Bobby's funny. The kid's only 13 years old, and he's already sold a joke to this Yakov Smirnov. He goes, oh, yeah? He goes, yeah. In America, they put God and trust on the money. In Russia, they have no money. He goes, oh, that's funny. I hate Russia. He goes, yeah, it's a good joke. It's Branson good. And he starts kind of singing Blue Moon.
Blue Moon
now
of
Blue
Kentucky.
Moon of Kentucky is stuck in Con's head. He starts singing it. He goes, oh, damn you, Hank Hill. I can't get that song out of my head. Oh, here it goes again. He starts singing it again. They look over and they see the kids busking on the street with the violin and Bobby blowing on a bottle. And Con says, she's playing on the street for lousy tourists. She should be playing at Royal Albert Hall for Prince Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles. Hank says, oh, come on, Con. I bet you never knew she could play and smile at the same time. Maybe one day she could be our opening act. They walk up to him. Con starts singing. Hank is playing with them. Bobby is now happy because his dad's shown up for him again. Now, we're back at the contest. They finish up playing Blue Moon with Charlie Daniels, and Dale comes over. The crowd loves it. Dale comes over and goes, Connie Susan Newsenphone, everybody. She's only 13, and he's pointing to Charlie Daniels.
Yeah.
Then we see Yakov come up in the audience with some security, and he goes, that's him. Use force if you need to. Security jumps on Dale. The last words in this entire show is them dragging Dale off the stage and going, help, Charlie, help, somebody. And that's it. We get our credits.
Use force if you need to.
Use force if you need to. That's a great Russian joke.
That is.
All right. And that is it, guys. That is finally Back in the Saddle, Season 6, Episode 9, or 6 ABE in the year of our Lord 14. This was originally February 24th, 2002. The Bluegrass is always greener. And again, this is where the Bluegrass of Kentucky song by Boomhauer became famous. All right.
Which was Vince Gill.
Just two quick housekeeping things. Make sure that you check out the video. Basically, you're going to talk about the live stuff, but check out the video on Spotify. Check out the video on YouTube every Monday. On Fridays, you get a audio-only episode, which is a little different. But we'd love for you to check those out. Also, if you get a chance, go over to Patreon. We have a $3 tier. Just really help us keep the cameras on and keep Rusty and Moon Pies. And so if you can help out that, we would really appreciate it. Where else can they find
You
us?
can also find us on youtube.com/@BWAAAKOTH. We go live there when we do these episodes. Also, if you're watching the live, stick with us. We're gonna stay live as we go through all the other stuff that we've got going on that we're recording. And you can also find us at Instagram.com/BWAAAKOTH.com, and we or whatever, yeah. And we're streaming from there too on Instagram, so stick with us if you're here for the live stream. If not with the live stream, go over to those pages. Please push like, follow, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, hit the notification bell, and the notification bell will let you know when we are live. So, that's a big, I think, a Wimatanye.
Wimatanye indeed. This has been a Rogue Media Network production.